All right, back at it. Week 5 of the Jesse Smith method. It's crazy to think that it's been 5 weeks. We're halfway through this thing. Uh, it's been amazing so far. Thank you to those that have been watching, to those that are new to the Jesse Smith method. Feel free to take a look at my YouTube page. The first video gives a good breakdown. The first 5 minutes is just me kind of covering why I'm doing this and what I'll be doing. And also within each one of these videos, a good description below that breaks that down as well. Thank you so much to those who have supported so far. We're 25% of the way to our goal, which is just insane to me. Really, really thank you all. And NAMI's actually doing this really wonderful thing right now where you can get your donation doubled up until December 31st, up to $100,000. So definitely a good time to think about that, during the holiday season, as they are matching donations. This week we have 2 really, really good stories I'm looking forward to sharing with you, and I hope you guys enjoy. This first story comes from my cousin and close friend, Acton. Jesse was an incredible person. He was honest, tough, and emotional. I could talk to him about anything. When we were young, we used to take a blanket out to the field and work on our summer tans. We both loved the sunshine. We would talk about the people we liked and our dreams for the future. His dream was to be married and have a family. We made a pact to get married to each other if we weren't already by 30, because we loved each other. I've since found out that Jesse made this pact with quite a few ladies, but that's a testament to who he was. He was a lover. He made me laugh, and I could trust him, which, as I found in my adult years, is something truly special. I miss the headbanging, the hugs, and his $1,000,000 smile. Jesse Smith was one of a kind, and I'm lucky to have known him. We all are. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. Oscar Wilde. Thanks so much for sharing, Al. I love that story. I was thinking back and I was always jealous of you and Jesse for having those great tans you had during the summer, and I would unfortunately always burn up like a lobster. But it also made me think about, a hot summer day rolling into like a cool summer night that makes me super nostalgic and think back to Jesse. But that quote really, had me sit back for a second and think about, how much Jesse lived his life to the fullest. And it really has been a consistent theme throughout all these stories. So thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it, Al. This next story comes from a good friend of mine, Jordan Synnestvedt. I used to have really long fall/winter breaks during college, and I would come back to Glenview every year during this time. During one break in particular, I spent a lot of time with Jesse. We would go on walks, bike rides, trips to the Arboretum, etc. Something we really loved to do was lay on my family's trampoline and stare at the sky and just chat about life. My winter break was coming close to an end, and Jesse had walked over to my parents' house and knocked on our sliding door, cueing me to come outside. I went to the sliding door and found Jesse with a handful of hand-picked flowers. He gave them to me and we walked over to the trampoline. We laid back and Jesse said, "Jordan, I have something to tell you." Not sure where this was going, but I said, "Yeah, what's up?" And Jesse said very directly, "I think I'm in love with you." I didn't know what to say, but the best thing I could come up with was, "Jesse, I don't think you're in love with me. We spent a lot of time together recently, and I think it might feel like love, but just a friend type of love." I felt bad that I wasn't able to reciprocate. I thought I might really hurt his feelings. Unexpectedly, Jesse responds, "Thank God. I really thought I was in love with you for a second there. Also, I think you're my cousin anyway." So, Jesse and I carried our friendship on from there as usual. I still think about that scenario and laugh from time to time. It's one of my favorite stories of Jesse. Thanks for sharing, Jordan. That was a great story. It reminds me of how spontaneous Jesse was. He was very open with his emotions if you've been listening to these stories, and would at times even get overwhelmed by them and act on it. which was a lot of fun when you'd hang out with them because you're never quite sure what was in store for that day, but it was always a good time. Also, with all these stories people are sharing, everyone has a similar experience with Jesse when they were one on one with him. And that was the ability to just be yourself, share your feelings. He really provided this safety net where people were able to express themselves. And I think it's because he was so comfortable in his own skin and wasn't afraid to be vulnerable, along with, being a great listener and truly caring for those he loved. Thanks again, Jordan. Really appreciate you sharing this story.
Hold on. Love you, Jesse.
Here's some photos of Elle and Jordan with Jesse. Some really good ones here. If anyone wants to submit any stories, share any pictures, I still have 5 additional weeks left, and still looking for some stories to have on the videos to come. So please let me know. I'd love to share them. I know people would love to hear them. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys next week. Happy holidays.